Hello everyone, this is Jim Okersinski. In this video, I would like to offer my observations while I was assessing Essay 2, the summary essay. So first I would like to begin here in the instructions for Essay 2. Now, I think after 2 essay assignments, everyone should be um, aware that the assignment instructions is the driver of the activity. Okay, so the idea here is a clear read and focus on the assignment instructions will move you along a little bit further than just looking at a rubric, um, looking at examples, essays, because in my mind, oftentimes just grade based upon the instructions. Did you achieve what you were asked for? And I pretty much consistent in this way of assessing because you will be tasked throughout your academic career and throughout your professional career with achieving and accomplishing the task at hand. Okay. So if we begin in the instructions here, I'm asking you right up front, the first sentence, your task for this assignment is to write a comprehensive summary. So a comprehensive summary would be, by definition, since it's used as an adjective, complete, including all or nearly all elements or aspects of something. So when I talk about coverage and getting good coverage on the article, that is your task, is a comprehensive summary. In some instances, in fact, quite a few instances, most students just summarize Rosie and Joe out of Blue Collar Brilliance. And there was much more to that article and much more to Rose's argument than just Rosie and Joe, even though they were the main support for Rose's argument. Okay. So it's a comprehensive summary is really important to understand here. So I talk about, what the theme of the article might be. The purpose of the essay is to challenge your academic reading skills by writing a summary of Rose's article. So the summary, once again, is the driver here. That's the purpose of the essay, right? So the idea is for this assignment, all right, you will write a brief introduction. Okay, right here, brief introduction, including some statement of focus. A statement of focus would be maybe exactly introducing Rose's article, how it tied to your particular choice, and how you opened the essay, but it's a brief introduction. Many of the essays, in fact, quite a few essays that I did read in assessing this assignment, the introductions were an anecdote, which is fine. It's one of the strategies that we talked about during the unit. However, that particular anecdote probably covered better part of the first page or more. Some of the anecdotes connected back to and introduced blue collar brilliance. Oftentimes, some of the opening introductions were a full page, and at the end of that particular um, introduction, there was no mention of the article. So as a reader, I really was confused as to what I was reading. Then the second paragraph would introduce the article, and then continue on with Rose's introduction and all of his background. So before I got to a summary, in many instances, it was the middle of the second page before I actually started reading about the article, which once again was not the purpose. So the brief introduction and a statement of focus really should have actually introduced the article, tied it in there. You can do it in the beginning, like the first sentence or the last sentence, to let the reader know what was coming in the rest of the essay assignment. Now, I want to take a minute here and talk about how many students I'll say mirrored, the essay examples, where there was like almost an identical structure, whether it was the length of the introduction. Second paragraph was Rose's introduction and background, all about Rose, and then just a Rosie and a Joe, basically capturing the same points that were offered in the essay examples. Now, I know I mentioned this in my lecture videos, that these are examples, just to provide you just like an illustration of how some students handle the assignment, to give you an idea. I cannot find, as I often say, a perfect introduction. So the idea, I mean, a perfect essay, example essay. So what you probably should have achieved with looking at the example essays in the discussion board post, just to note how a particular writer handled the essay 2 summary essay. Then make sure that your essay match the instructions here. Okay. In fact, I probably, after assessing quite a few, I thought I was reading just about the same essay. It was the same structure. It's basically the same content, words. So mirroring the examples is probably a generous statement. I just don't like getting into the P word here. All right, so that look here at the assignment, okay, would be really an important look before you start writing, comparing it back. Everybody was supposed to provide their opinion. You were supposed to hold off your opinion until the conclusion. And many students either jumped in, tried to insert themselves into the summary conversation, which really was not the goal of this particular essay assignment. So I don't want to move on too long in this particular video. I do want to take some time to review and take a look at blue collar brilliance. So through our discussion board activity, we determined that Rose's argument was all about intelligence. So in a comprehensive summary, you want to provide some attention to the people, positions, blue collar jobs that Rose used to support his argument. But in summarizing, you want to highlight the activities that demonstrated intelligence, right? So the idea here is, if we look at Rosie, I've highlighted some sections here throughout my copy of Blue Collar Brilliance. So when Rose describes tables as deuces and four tops and six tops, the racetrack, he concluded then that lingo conferred authority and signal know-how, which is a part of intelligence. How Rosie walked through the full tilt through the room with plates stretching up her left arm, 2 cups of coffee somehow cradled in her right hand, remembering orders, how Rosie would watch the room and note the flow of conversation. So he talks about how the restaurant defined the world of adults and where competence was synonymous with physical work. And the important paragraph here is, like anyone who is effective in physical work, my mother learned to work smart, as she put it, to make every move count. She'd sequence and group tasks. Tasks would be clustered. She did everything on the fly when problems arose, technical or human, and solved them within the flow of work. So these are the activities that Rosie devised through using her intelligence to be a successful waitress. I really don't need a lot of backstory about how she left school or her husband, Rose's father. We want to focus on the activities that provide support for intelligence, which is Rose's argument. So the same goes for Uncle Joe. So Uncle Joe, we can, a short sentence about the background would be to set up Joe would be great. We don't have to go into the long introduction about Uncle Joe. We want to get right to the important aspects of Uncle Joe's work, right? So the idea here is you want to highlight maintaining a cool head under pressure, grueling production schedules, demands quickly parceling out physical and mental resources. How Joe, when working on the line, was able to work and understand machinery, The redesign of the nozzle on the paint sprayer and the healthy overspray is one of those activities that Rose describes to support his argument about intelligence. The same thing with budgets and management. The rotation on the line to allow assemblers get longer and more frequent breaks. Okay, and how he negotiated with the union is all important about how Joe developed his skills and his intelligence on the job. So remember the cultural aspects of this, but a lot of essay drafts just did not include some of the other jobs and some of their cognitive processes that were a part of Rose's argument. Right? Talks about the plumber, hairstylist handling scissors, and how to manage and comb scissors and comb manage their body strategically. If you can think about how a hairstylist, moves around a person while they're working on hair. Trial and error or verbal assistance from a coworker or a trainer are all important aspects of these other jobs. So the idea here is this thinking and motion are those cognitive processes. Tools requires studied, refined stance, grip, balance. Manipulating tools tied to the knowledge of a particular instrument and to do what it can do in a particular situation is always an important aspect to capture. Carpenters have an eye for length and angle. Mechanics troubleshoot by listening. Hairstylists are attuned to shape, texture, and motion. And ultimately, it moves on to work is to solve problems. And also, he mentions movers. I'm not saying that you have to summarize and provide all of this, every component, but there's a way to integrate many of this content here in Blue Collar Brilliance into your essay. It's more, I should say, it's more than just Rosie and Joe. All right, so I'm hoping that in looking through Blue Collar Brilliance and the article, getting some of those tasks and processes that intelligence played a role in is critical in writing the comprehensive summary, and especially providing a piece that would appeal to your audience, which is trade school recruiters. Right? So the idea here in Essay 2 was to provide that summary, coverage, detail that are required in a summary, and you can pull out and extract and talk about the many components in a way that would really give the reader, especially your trade school recruiters, a sense of what the article was all about. So between Blue Collar Brilliance, taking a look at the assignment, take a look at my comments. I want to mention to everybody not to resolve any of my comments. I will talk about the revision process in another video as we move forward into our last unit. You will be afforded the opportunity, and it's required to revise 2 of your 3 essays. The decision is yours, which ones you want to revise, and then at the appropriate time at the end of the semester, you can upload those to the assignment. I will reopen those for a reconsideration of your original grade. You will get the higher of. So the idea here is I have a criteria for revision. Some people have revised and uploaded while the assignment is open during the 2-week period, but that's just not something I'm entertaining at this time. All right, so if you have any questions about Essay 2, please send me an email. Good luck.